It's a scream.
You want burgers, hot dogs, some chicken, and ribs. Yeah! 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 Night of the Horror File.
You know, I have a hard time with John Lithgow every now and then.
Why?
You know, I love him. I love him as an actor. But after he did those Progresso soup commercials, I just keep picturing him eating Progresso soup.
Did he do Progresso soup commercials?
He did. He's like, Progresso soup. Like, it's delicious.
What the fuck?
It's just so so sometimes when I'm watching like today's feature, there's a very good John Lithgow performance in here.
Of course, because he plays a good bad guy. He plays an excellent
villain. But like, so I'll see it and I just keep thinking of him eating Progresso soup. I don't know what it is. I don't know. I don't even like Progresso soup. It's too watery. You ever had a Progresso soup?
Not that I remember. Maybe I have. I don't know for sure.
No Progresso soup for you.
I don't know. Soup. If someone put it in a bowl, I would not know.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, what are we doing? What are we doing? This turned into Soupcast. Soupcast. Welcome to Soupcast, everybody. No, I'm just joking. No, I'm just joking. Yeah, we've dropped the movies. After COVID, we lost our brains, and now we're fucking...
Didn't we do this on like one of our Shooting the Shit episodes too?
Oh, just
talk
like
about soup?
Yes.
Yes, we were talking about tomato soup.
Yeah, we were talking. Okay, first of all, let me just intro the show since we're just going on about the soup. But welcome to Night at the Horror File, a horror movie and genre film podcast where we take a horror movie and genre film and show it to my beautiful wife, Brittany, who then gives us her thoughts. And maybe she likes these things, maybe she doesn't.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah. What did we watch this week?
Blowout.
That's right, from 1981. And back on the soups. I don't know what has been going on. I feel a ton better today than I have in a while. Mm-hmm. But after COVID, you know, when we got COVID and stuff like that, something happened. So like, if you noticed, like during our taxi driver episode and during like, if you're a Patreon subscriber, during our Patreon subscriber episodes, it's like I was zero funny.
Yeah.
It's like comedy went out the fucking window for me. I don't know what the fuck happened. And I was like, I'm a fat guy. The funny is what I have. I hope COVID hadn't affected the funny. You're not the funny anymore. No, please. Not my funny.
Was that like a no soup for you joke?
Yeah. No funny for you. See, I can't even get my jokes right. It's fucked up.
No, I got you. I got you.
But anyway. Sorry. Or maybe I'm back. But anyway, yes, we watched Blowout from 1981. A Brian De Palma flick, man. Directed by Brian De Palma. Written by Brian De Palma, I believe. And also scored by Pino Donaggio, which the score we'll talk about when we get there. We always do. We always talk about the score, no matter, even if Brittany heard it or not.
I just don't hear these things, okay?
I know.
Doesn't come up in my brain.
And if you're just joining us, all this month of January, we extended our Quentin Tarantino thing into the month of January with a 2-part biography of the director himself at the first of the month. And then now we have been getting to films that inspired him, his favorite films, which we're getting damn tired.
Oh, yeah.
We're ready for horror. Yeah. So you guys that have been missing the horror movie talk, just get ready for next month. That's all I'll say.
Thank goodness. I can't believe it's already almost February.
I mean, we've been doing, yeah, right. But we've been doing some great esteemed films, you know, like some really good film. So it hasn't been so bad. It's just, we're ready, you know.
Right.
And I think this movie, especially since it's kind of, it's not horror, but it's horror light.
I guess.
You know, it's a thriller, so you're kind of getting a little bit of, you know, scariness out of it, but not so much, you know. But like, it's gotten me in the mood, especially this movie. This movie especially.
Oh, yeah.
But for our last esteemed film of the month, we are taking a look at Brian De Palma's movie. That's right, Blowout from 1981. You know, we talked about you really digging Brian De Palma flicks.
Yeah.
You've noticed that.
Yeah.
I've noticed that. I've noticed with a De Palma flick, you're never like bored.
Right.
For you.
For me, yeah.
And we'll talk about why I think that when we get into the episode. But anyway.
Okay.
Now, after finishing his equally enthralling film, Dressed to Kill. In fact, he had worked with a sound guy on that film that greatly influenced John Travolta's character. But De Palma had a few projects that he was approaching to do next, stuff he was thinking about going with. One was Act of Vengeance, a film that would go on to be produced by HBO, starring Charles Bronson and a young Keanu Reeves, not directed by De Palma, of course. But he was also considering doing Flashdance. That would have been weird.
Wow.
A Brian De Palma Flashdance,
That sounds a little weird.
It does. Anyway, and a script of his own titled Personal Effects he had written. That was one he had been working on. And it was that screenplay's outline that De Palma would use for today's film, Blowout. Now, Personal Effects, as was the working title of this movie, was very similar to what we have today. Like almost exactly similar, but it was set in Canada.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Now, De Palma shot this and based it in his hometown of Philadelphia, which I gotta say, this was kind of refreshing. It seems like lately we've been mostly stuck in LA and New York.
Right.
With the exception of fucking The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, we were in New Mexico, or that wasn't even New Mexico. We were in fucking Spain.
Right.
But like, it was kind of refreshing to see a different city.
Yes, it was.
I felt like, because you don't get to see, myself, I don't see Philadelphia that much in the movies or things set in Philadelphia.
Right.
But, besides the movie Philadelphia, I guess. Sorry, you guys. I think I'm back with the jokey jokes that are lame. But anyway, he shot this in his hometown of Philadelphia for what totaled around $18 million when finished. Was the budget for this movie.
Holy shit.
Which definitely I feel like kind of attributed to his box office problems. De Palma, before Travolta signed on, De Palma was eyeing a budget of $3 million. That's what he was thinking he was going to be able to get away with doing this movie. Which he totally could have pulled off. But honestly, like I said, I'll talk about this later, but to me, some of De Palma's controversial and most unsuccessful movies are some of his best. I think if we laid out all his films, you'll notice that.
Okay.
Like they go up and down. But the budget, I think, was definitely a crunch. Like, just that big inflated budget. Because half of it, the studios spent on marketing.
Really?
Yeah, half was spent on marketing. So really, the movie in total was probably about like, 9 million, I think?
Yeah.
Yeah, about 9 million really was what you were looking at, which was even high for what he was thinking. But anyway.
Half was spent on marketing? Why?
Yeah.
Why?
Which I didn't.
For a movie that I've never fucking heard of before.
That's the problem. We'll talk about where this movie lies in the public consciousness.
Yeah.
Because it's in a weird spot, It's not underrated, but it's not overrated.
I mean, if you're spending $9 million on marketing, you might want a better movie. I'm just saying.
Well, I think they were so sure that this was going to be a firehouse.
Why? Because they had Travolta?
Well, it's because it's De Palma.
And Travolta?
And Travolta. Honestly, we think Travolta now, he's not the leading man he once was. He doesn't sell a movie like he did back in now, But during this time, it's after Grease and stuff like that, So he was definitely a leading man and stuff. Right. He was a big star to get.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Anyway,
no, it's okay. It's okay. Like I said, you lay out De Palma's films and you'll notice like some of his most like controversial and his most unsuccessful, which today is an unsuccessful movie, are some of his best works. It's weird how that works with De Palma. Like we talked about The Phantom of the Paradise. Mm-hmm. That is such a gorgeous movie. Right. So well shot. It's so well respected now. But back then it wasn't, it wasn't as respected as it is now. And the same with Blowout. Blowout's a little weird though, because I'll talk about it at the end of the show. But Blowout got rave reviews.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm surprised actually.
I know. It got great reviews. And maybe there's a few things that I noticed that you didn't notice in this film, which I always love that. So today is going to be a fun conversation, I think. But anyway, let's move on. But like our discussion on Tarantino De Palma uses a lot of films from the past as inspiration here, and today's film, he was really inspired by 1966's Michelangelo Antonioni, the thriller Blow Up.
Okay.
Which that movie was basically the same kind of premise, only a photographer who captures a murder while he's shooting for a fashion show.
Oh.
So it's vision instead of sound.
Right.
But Blowout, combined with De Palma's signature shooting style and ability to take the backbones of a 70s political thriller and make it better, creates one hell of a film. And so without further ado, let's dive into 1981's Blowout.
So the opening of this movie is where I stab Leigh in the throat.
So today...
I don't know.
She's killing me over and over. If you're just joining us, we have a different death for me every episode. It's quite lovely.
I don't know. I probably said that one before, but
maybe
it sounds
it's
good
okay.
for now.
You could stab me once more. It's fine. I just keep coming back. I'm worse than Jason Voorhees.
I was gonna say roaches, but okay.
Damn, that's how low you think of me. But today's film could be seen as also kind of a meta homage to film itself. The movie is kind of a movie on movie making in a way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Two of the main plot points today feature sight and sound. Those are the biggest, plot points of the movie.
Right.
Well, plot points, biggest, what's constructed in the movie and stuff like that. Sound first, and then Dennis Franz, the disgusting character that he is, introduces us to sight, and then sight and sound combine together to equal film.
Right.
Plus, it's a testament to the deceptive nature of film itself and how the things we see and hear can be used against us.
Right.
Which is definitely I basically summed up this entire movie.
It's pretty easy to sum up.
Yeah.
So anyway, the opening is a scene from a movie that Jack Terry, our main character, is doing the sound work for. The producer tells him that the sound is shit, because it is, and he needs to fix it. So later, while Jack is coming up with noises, recording different noises and stuff, we get this really cool split screen of Jack working on his work and watching the news. And on the news, they're talking about the presidential candidates and a parade that they're holding in Philadelphia for the Liberty Bell.
Yeah, and I like the search for the scream begins here. You know what I mean? That search for the perfect scream, which it's really dark. One of the things that went against this movie was the ending that we'll discuss later. But but for this trick opening here, the slasher movie. By the way, the nude lady in the shower here was Missy Cleveland, Playmate of the Month of April 1979.
Nice.
And Playboy. But this thing was shot by Garrett Brown. And we talked about Garrett Brown on our episode for The Shining with the Steadicam, which he invented. The thing was, Garrett was so skilled with his rig that the crew had a hard time keeping up with him while he was going through here, which I love this opening scene because I always fucking forget about it.
I was like, is this a slasher movie?
Yeah, because it opens up
what?
And you're like, good Lord, this is the most stereotypical slasher I've ever seen.
I know. And I was like, you didn't tell me it was a slasher movie.
Yeah. And it's also Garrett with the knife, because every once in a while he raises the knife up in front of the camera. It's so cheesy and hilarious. But and by the way, this marks the first time that De Palma would use a Steadicam. But they had a ton of fun constructing this scene. They throw in one of every stereotype into this fucking scene, like girls dancing nude, a girl masturbating, and then there's like a girl fucking somebody. There's sex going on. So it's just, and then the shower.
Because it's a dorm room.
Yeah, and then the shower. But Garrett hated doing this because the thing was, he had to be clumsy on purpose.
Oh, yeah.
He had to make it look like it was somebody walking and stuff like that, which the Steadicam isn't quite like that. But it's just an interesting way to start your movie,
Oh, yeah.
Which I've noticed that a De Palma flick, he doesn't start his movie like the generic way. Like what bores him are those long shots at the beginning of movies, like cars driving up to a place.
I agree.
Like you have these overinflated drive scenes at the beginning of movies and stuff where people are just approaching a building. And to him, that's boring. So he always begins his movies with these kind of interesting ways. We'll take a look at Phantom of the Paradise. interesting way to start your movie out there, which is a song and dance number.
Right.
And then with Carrie.
My favorite.
Yeah, Carrie, that's the shower scene, the iconic shower scene at the beginning.
Yeah.
You know, that's how it starts. It's very interesting how he he hooks you from the very beginning.
Right. And I like that.
Yeah. And speaking of cinematography, Vilmos Zsigmond, which you guys should definitely know this guy, but he worked on one of the main movies that I can really say that he worked on that everybody should know is Close Encounters of the Third Kind with Steven Spielberg. But he worked on this film doing cinematography, which I think even you noticed this time, the cinematography in this movie.
Yes, I
it's
did.
so gorgeous. Like there is the use of spacing and colors and the two shots and the wide shots they use and stuff like that. Like there's a shot later on when they're in the hospital and he's with Nancy Allen.
Oh, what is her name in this movie? Sally.
Yeah. John Travolta's with Nancy Allen in the hospital room though.
Yeah.
And there's only two shots there, but they're so wide. You see everything.
Yeah.
Like that's what's lovely about this movie. There's not a close up of someone's face unless it's absolutely needed.
Right.
But anyway, so Zsigmond, he kind of helped shape the look of films in the 70s with such directors like Robert Altman, Steven Spielberg, like I said, and of course, Brian De Palma today, among others.
So Jack goes to collect some sounds outside in a park. And this is where he sees a car crash over a bridge.
Which I love how De Palma, he gives us these shots and later on he'll turn them into POV shots.
Right.
Of sound.
Yeah.
Which is really cool because you have John Travolta on this bridge with his boom mic and he's sitting there collecting sounds from far off.
Yeah.
Which also goes into another thing that I've noticed or that you may have noticed about Brian De Palma flicks is he always has the theme of voyeurism in his films,
Oh, I can see that. Yeah.
Yeah, like Body Double.
Right.
He has that in that movie. And
never mind. That's not what I thought you meant.
But there's always this like theme of voyeurism.
Yeah. Someone's watching, someone's listening.
Yeah. And that's kind of what John Travolta's doing here.
Yeah.
But I really love the parts about the sound.
Right. I do too. I like how he uses the sound, and I'll go into more of that later. There's a scene I really wanted to talk about later on.
Yeah, Brittany has a lot to say. It's just we're not quite.
We just have to get there.
Yeah, we're not quite. This is just me fucking gushing, man. Do you ever get tired of this? Just me, just gushing about every little
day,
thing.
Yes.
Yeah,
every day.
I remember when we first started this show, I tried not to do that.
Oh yeah,
and it was so hard. So now I'm just kind of like.
It just is what it is.
Well, because if I only know like 4 things of like the making of a movie, because most of what I say in this show, and I've said this before, is just stuff that I remember hearing and seeing in interviews.
Yeah.
So if I don't know that much, then I'm just going to sit here and talk about the film itself, which I think is just the way to go. I don't know, especially with this movie.
With this movie in particular, or any movie you see.
Okay, any movie.
I was like, yeah, what are you talking about? Anyway, so Jack jumps in the water and we see someone run across the bridge. Jack is able to save a woman from the car and then he goes to the hospital with her. This is Sally.
Yeah.
She goes to the hospital and a detective is talking to him and says that he heard a bang before the blowout. The detective's just giving him a hard time the whole time. He's like, why were you there? Why did you save her? And Jack's just like, bro, this was not an accident. Yeah.
What really, and it might be to his detriment, we'll talk about it, but he's so obsessed with what happened, what actually happened, the truth, that's what's really he obsesses about in this movie.
Right.
Whereas anybody else could have just been like, well, all right, so maybe it's just a blowout, whatever.
Right.
Just move on, and a lot of the authorities and stuff are telling him that, just move on.
Just shut the fuck up.
Just don't worry about it.
Right.
Who cares about this kind of stuff? Which another thing that this movie kind of leans heavy into is conspiracy theories.
Yes.
You know, in what's really funny about Brian De Palma doing a conspiracy movie as opposed to anybody else, this is interesting to me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm just not a big conspiracy theory person. Like, how are you on conspiracy theories?
It's fine.
Like, every once in a while, one piques my interest, but for the
Right.
most part, I'm just kind of like,
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I just have always found them boring.
And I don't like listening to people's opinions on it.
Well, because conspiracy theories are the one subject that somebody could go on and on about.
Yes.
They can just continually talk about it, almost like me in movies, you know. But the conspiracy theorist and stuff is always obsessed about the truth, even though they might not be getting it right. You know, like today we see, you know, a lot of people are being deceived by what they see and hear.
Right.
You know, which is kind of what a conspiracy theory kind of is in a way. You know, it's what people have seen and heard, and they put that information together in their brain to create something completely different.
Right.
That may have actually started.
It's a fucking rumor. Most of the time.
I don't know. This movie definitely like reeks of the JFK conspiracy.
Yes.
It just has that vibe about it. And that's because De Palma was huge on that. He was a conspiracy theory buff, like a JFK buff and stuff like that. So this definitely like, because it's almost like he's just recreating his own Zapruder film with this movie. But this whole beautiful sequence of the car going into the water, now that required a 60-foot long and 15-foot tall dam to secure the water level.
Sorry. I always have to say that whenever I see a dam.
Oh, damn.
Oh, damn.
Where's the damn bait?
Okay.
Gonna get some damn breakfast around here?
No,
Gonna get a
you're
damn
using
drink?
it wrong.
I am?
Yes.
Oh, I can't even do lame jokes well, you know. God, I'm gonna blame the COVID. I'm gonna
Okay.
blame But no, like to get the water level and keep it the same level that they needed
Yeah.
for this car to look great going into it, because it is a spectacular car wreck, but simple.
Right.
Like,
Very simple.
Yeah, I miss simplistic car wrecks. You know,
We don't need 7 flips and a
all
fire and a
this
boom.
CGI
Yes.
bumpers flying at the camera. That's the worst fucking thing that we have now in modern cinema. Is when a car explodes, you always have to have a bumper or something fly at the camera, and I'm like, please stop that. It's not cool anymore. But anyway, I just really appreciate this, and it took 7 days to film this. Plus, they also had to deal with environmentalists who were pressuring the crew to return the creek back to its original state. So they were on a crunch here. But for the underwater parts, now that was all shot in a giant tank.
Of course.
In California.
Yeah.
They're not going to actually shoot in the Philadelphia Creek where it's fucking freezing.
No, and they've got like secure people under there, and
Yeah,
like with oxygen on hand and shit. Yeah.
Which it is an awesome scene when he goes underwater to save her from that car.
Oh yeah.
It is a cool scene, man, because first off, like he sees her in the car and he's trying to figure out how to get the fuck in there. And then he goes back down and he tries this other door in the fucking dead body of the governor that we'll learn in a minute. He fucking rises up. That shit's scary.
Yes.
And then finally he gets the rock and busts out the window. But the whole time it's tense. Man.
Oh, yeah.
It is a tense little scene where some people might not drag it on as long as De Palma did here. I think some people would just, immediately smash that window and get her out of there.
Right.
But with this,
I don't think people understand that it's really hard to fucking smash a window under the
this
water.
might be the most realistic window smashing underwater I've seen, because it takes him a while to get that fucking thing crushed.
I don't think he would have been able to do it with
I don't
the rock.
even think so. I think, isn't it supposed to be almost impossible to break a window underwater?
Yeah,
From the outside, at least?
Yeah, that's why they say to take the headrest off of the car, or the thing.
Oh, yeah, and use
take it
that
out
metal
and,
part.
and stab it. Yeah.
Which they also sell those little keychain things, which I thought were fucking plugs for your penis.
What?
I honestly thought people were walking around with those sounding things, which it's a whole thing, you guys.
Oh my
sounding.
gosh, that's so funny.
Not that I do that.
But
I
my
just-
whole thing is like, how am I going to get to my keys when I'm trying to breathe and panic and shit? How am I going to get to my keys to do that?
Well, true. Because fucking poor Nancy Allen is in this car the entire time this is going on. And that shit's also tense.
Yeah.
You know, 'cause she's running out of air and shit. And the worst part was Nancy Allen was claustrophobic. had claustrophobia.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, bad, you know. And De Palma said it was very scary putting his then wife into this fucking car.
Oh, that was his
for the
wife?
shot. Yeah, they were married at the time. De Palma almost didn't do it. You know, he was like, "Look, we'll get a stunt double. We'll get somebody else in here to do this. I can't put you down there." Because he was saying when he looked at her, she was scared out of her fucking mind.
Oh,
which may have attributed to the scene.
Right.
The two things that I can say, even if you didn't like this movie, is that Nancy Allen and John Travolta are fucking powerhouses in this movie. They give some fucking performances, man.
Right.
But so she insisted on doing it herself, and I think that really it comes across on the screen how fucking frightened she is.
Because you'd be fucking scared as shit.
Fuck yeah.
So Jack goes to see Sally because she's just still in the hospital.
Right.
And he asks her out for a drink. And she's like, okay, let's leave right now. But he convinces her to stay because she's not stable. Like, she's falling over.
Right.
Exhausted.
They have a really adorable meet cute here.
I disagree.
You didn't like this?
No.
I thought it was cute.
Mm-mm,
You know, she's like, I don't have my makeup on.
I don't know. I like their acting. I don't like their chemistry.
I thought they had good chemistry.
I think it's weird.
Really? Like, what?
Yeah.
Go into it. Like, what?
I don't know. Like, I think he just wants to find out the information, and he knows that he has to use her to find out this information. I don't think he actually likes her.
Oh, see, I got the feeling that he does, but he is so obsessed with discovering the truth about all this.
Right.
That I think that obsession is what ends up giving us the ending we get later on.
Right.
But I got the feeling that he did care for her in a way.
I don't.
Really?
I did not feel that at all.
Oh, dang.
I feel like he pressured her. I don't know. It's just weird to me. Anyway. So he walks out to leave, and he finds out that the governor was driving the car when it wrecked, and this governor was in the running for president.
Which is great, because the way Brian De Palma tells you that, we don't get long scenes with the governor or anything like that. It is all told to you at the beginning of the movie. In that scene where he's working in his little office thing, and
the news is playing.
The news is playing, which is a great split screen.
Right.
You know, Brian De Palma does wonders with the fucking split screen.
And this governor, his name is Mick Ryan.
Mm-hmm.
Well, one of Mick Ryan's friends comes and tells Jack to forget he ever saved Sally because she was his escort.
Yeah. And
they didn't want the news to know about that because they didn't want to hurt his family or anything like that.
Right. Now, Al Pacino was originally De Palma's first choice to play Jack.
Oh, God.
You know, which would have made Jack and Sally a lot older. You know, which now that I'm saying Jack and Sally, I know I wrote
it a lot, and I was like, can it fucking not be Jack and Sally, please?
I think Tim Burton stole some shit. But anyway.
And also there's that song, we can live like Jack and Sally if we want to.
Oh shit, I don't know that song.
Yes, you do. It's a Blink-182 song.
Oh, I do know that song.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. Well, I don't think anybody would want to live like Jack and Sally in this movie.
But the whole fucking time I'm watching this and taking notes, this song is fucking blaring through my head. And I'm like, can we not? Please?
But in the original screenplay, since they were older, they would have been a lot more cynical. And a lot more, I think almost...
dumb?
No, not dumb.
Not dumb. Not dumb enough is what I meant.
Yeah, more serious, because Jack and Sally have this naive bit to them, if you notice. You know, like there's a story he tells later where he's super excited about the wire he made. Yeah. You know, it just seems like they have more of a naive personality to them as opposed to if they went older, which I think... I think going younger was the right choice. Yeah. Even though Al Pacino would have been wonderful in this movie. Yeah. You know? They're more reckless in this. Right. As younger people. Right. But when Pacino wasn't available, Travolta signed on. And of course, it's wonderful to watch Nancy Allen in anything. You know, you've seen her. I've seen her in a shit ton of stuff. But what you've mainly seen her in is Carrie, I believe. Is that the only other movie that you've seen? I don't know. RoboCop?
What other movies was she in? I don't know.
RoboCop?
No.
Okay. See, I don't think you've seen anything else with her in it. But like, no, Nancy Allen is fucking a wonder to watch. She does a great job in this movie too. But De Palma had worked with John Travolta, of course, on Carrie. You know, so those two had already worked together. Him and Nancy Allen, because that's in Carrie. Yeah.
I was like, he wasn't. Yes, he was.
Yeah, he was her boyfriend in Carrie, which that's why I said I think they have a really good chemistry in this movie.
I don't think so.
That's funny that you got a different
I didn't
reading.
feel that. Yeah.
That's funny. But you know, at the time of Carrie, John Travolta had just been he was only in like Welcome Back, Kotter. That was like one of his first roles was Carrie.
Oh wow.
Yeah, but in this, he had started breaking out. You know, his career was taking off in big numbers. You know, with Grease.
Yeah.
And all that stuff. And because of Grease, actually, somebody told Brian De Palma that he should get Olivia Newton-John to play Sally in this movie.
No.
Yeah. Which luckily that didn't fucking happen because De Palma refused that.
She's too pure.
That would have been fucking weird.
Yeah.
Like, it's fine to take, like, these two actors who had been in Carrie together. You know, but like to take Olivia Newton-John and fucking...
Oh, I didn't even think about them being main characters. Yeah.
And John Travolta from Grease, basically. It's just a Grease reunion.
Yeah.
That's not what you want for your political thriller.
No. That would have been weird.
Right. Now, Nancy Allen, and like I said, De Palma had been married at the time. I believe they got married in 81 and divorced in 84.
Oh.
Yeah.
That didn't last very long.
No, but the role probably would have went to Natalie Wood or Julie Christie if Pacino had signed on, I assume. Now, what's really cool though is we don't get a lot of Travolta roles like this in his early careers.
Right.
You know, these serious roles, which you know, you think, and what had you seen John Travolta in aside from Pulp Fiction?
What have I seen him in?
Yeah.
Grease?
Yeah, Grease. So like you think, oh, John Travolta is leading a political thriller. That sounds a little can he do that? Like
right.
You know, but in this movie, like he is amazing. I think it's one of his like best performances.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't bad at all.
No. But this movie, the failure of this actually caused his career to go more into lighter roles. You know, this hurt his career.
Oh, yeah.
Which was it's really weird when you think about it. That's what I mean by like when I watch this movie, you think, why didn't John Travolta get these more serious roles moving forward? He would after Pulp Fiction, of course.
Right.
But not here. You know, it's really strange, like to not think, because even if this wasn't your cup of tea, like this is a good movie.
Right.
Like, and critics were raving about it at the time, but it's just something about the box office poison that it was, I guess, that just ruined it kind of hurt his career a lot. But he acts his ass off in this film. And he also had insomnia during the shoots.
Oh no.
So it adds to his darkened mood. He has
right.
He's moody. He's more moody than we've ever seen him.
Right.
In this picture. Like he broods, which is really cool.
Yes. I love his serious face.
Yeah,
no one can see my face, but
but he has a really awesome stoic face.
Yeah,
you know, especially oh my god, at the end he says no words, but at the end when they use, you know, spoilers, they use Nancy Allen's scream at the end of the movie for the overdubbing of that slasher. Like just his facial response to that, where it's just tortured.
Yes, very tortured. That's a good word.
Yeah. It's just like I said, this is actually my favorite John Travolta film, and this was actually Tarantino's favorite.
Oh wow!
Yeah, which is what caused him to cast John Travolta in Pulp Fiction.
Yeah. So Jack is driving Sally, and she doesn't want to go home because she is afraid that there's going to be press there. Mm-hmm. Jack agrees to take her to a motel.
Did you get that? Did you get the feeling she was sedated or something? I don't know what
something. Maybe she had a concussion.
Maybe, because I don't know what... This is the only part of the movie I don't care for Nancy Allen's acting. I hate
Yeah.
to say it, but like, I don't really know what she's going for. Like drunk.
I don't think that was her. I think that was them. And I don't think she was drunk. I think she had a concussion.
Yeah, you think that's what she was
Yeah.
going for? Okay, that makes
Yeah.
more sense to me. Like
You're
maybe she's
drunk?
going,
No.
but you know what I mean? Like it feels like she's out of it, but it doesn't
Right.
feel quite like, I don't know, concussed. It feels like drunk to me.
Right.
I don't know what's going on.
But I'm pretty sure she's just concussed.
Oh, I know she thought of her character as like a rag doll. You know,
Yeah.
that's what she said, and she wore like a lucky rabbit's foot with her because she imagined her character being superstitious and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know.
I could see that.
Yeah.
So before they can even stop, Sally's passed out. So Jack gets her in bed and starts listening back on his recordings, and he clearly hears a gunshot before the blowout. So the gunshot,
Mhm.
the gun shot out the tire
Right.
and made the blowout.
This is what sets off what he's like, okay, something's not right here. You know,
Yeah.
something's not right. Somebody shot that tire out. And I love how De Palma shows you that. You know, because
Yeah.
he could have very well just had John Travolta sitting there smoking a cigarette, listening to the recording, and we could have heard stuff. You know, he could have done that. You know, he could have had John Travolta react like, aha, or something like that.
right.
He could have done that, but he does this in such an artistic way where like he has the split diopter thing going on, which we've talked about that in our Carrie thing with
Yeah.
De Palma, where basically it's two images, you know, instead of one blurring out and the background showing up, or the foreground showing up and the background blurring out, you see both at the same time, which is a beautiful way to deliver information. But we
Right.
get to see his thoughts. Like he almost has like a comic book thought bubble going on around him while he's doing this. And this is the scene what I was talking about where he's using that pencil and recreating where he was pointing the
Yeah.
sound stick.
Because he's trying to do the timing of it.
Yeah, he's figuring out the timing and how he's piecing
Yep.
the sound together, which again could have just been him just sitting there listening to this.
Right.
But no, we get like him walking through his thoughts is
Right.
what's happening here.
Exactly what happened and where the sound is coming from, because
Yeah.
he's moving around the room.
Yeah, because
Just like he was outside.
Yeah, then we get that's where those POV shots come in,
Mhm.
which is sound POV, is something that you don't see much in movies.
Right.
Where we go to a POV shot of what he was pointing his boom mic at
Right.
this time. But you know, around this time, Brian De Palma was, like I said, he was pretty into the JFK assassination. The idea about making his own Zapruder film, if you will. But what's funny is, have you ever seen a political thriller
Not that I know of.
or a movie about a conspiracy?
Not really. No.
Really? Yeah. See, and that's what I mean. Like, it seems like it's not in your wheelhouse.
Yeah.
Like, this does not seem like something that would appeal to you.
Definitely not.
But I think the way Brian De Palma delivers it
Yeah.
is so fucking good that you can't help but like this.
Yes. I wanted to know what happened next.
Yeah, it's
okay?
the pure artist. It's the pure artistry of it. Like I said, maybe another filmmaker would have just had him sitting there listening,
Right.
or had him talking to people a whole bunch.
Right. To get information.
Yeah,
and
doing
stuff,
more
yeah.
interviews than anything.
Right.
But in this, John Travolta does investigative work with sound and sight,
Right.
which is so fucking
It's
compelling.
so cool. Yeah.
It's so compelling to me.
I like that because it's very cut and dry. It's black and white when it comes to sound and sight.
We talked over on Patreon about this kind of thing where you were saying like you were having a hard time trying to come up with words of why Brian De Palma's storytelling like intrigues you so much.
Uh-huh.
And you kept saying smooth,
Smooth, yeah.
which I think I understand. Like with his artistry and stuff, he gives you all the information in such like a it's like a see, it's so hard to explain.
Yeah.
But it's like such a well drawn together way, you know, like I said, with the tire popping
Ow,
and stuff, and you get to see the tire and you get to see the tire get shot out.
Yeah.
But you also are seeing John Travolta in the same shot, piecing it together in his brain.
Right.
So you're receiving like a ass ton of information in one shot.
Right.
Which I think that's why it makes his movies, like you said, so smooth to you.
Yeah.
Is because of the way the info is getting pushed onto you.
Right.
You know, you think about Carrie. Think about that very, very last climatic scene in the gym, you know, where everything goes split screen.
Mm-hmm.
If it wasn't split screen, we're going to have a lot of different fucking shots coming at you. And I think it would have made that scene so much longer.
Yeah.
But he makes like fucking pure mayhem play out in maybe like one dead on shot, but different shots within the split screen.
Right.
So you're getting so much information loaded.
And I like that. It's just, I like, first of all, I like to have a lot of information. I don't like movies that don't give me any fucking information because I'm lazy. Okay, let's not get past
and that's
that.
why you're here, because you're the casual moviegoer.
Right.
You know, that's why you're on this show. That's the biggest reason, is because you're the casual movie viewer.
Yeah.
You know.
So I like this. I like a smooth thing and knowing everything at one time.
Right,
like,
right.
I want to know all of it. Like,
Right,
tell me all of it,
and
but I don't want a 4-hour fucking movie either.
Right. And what is this movie? 1 hour and 47 minutes? A political thriller being under 2 hours? That's unheard of.
Right.
So like, and that's what I mean with a Brian De Palma flick. You're getting everything handed to you, but it's not in a condescending way.
Right.
Like, we don't take like 10 minutes of exposition time for this movie. No, everything you need to know, he shows it to you.
So then we see that someone has the tire from the car and he's replacing it with another tire that doesn't have a bullet hole out of it.
Right.
The next day, Jack plays the tapes for Sally and he asks what she was doing with McRyan, and Sally gets offended and says that she isn't answering that personal of questions to him.
But yeah, part of her character that's so heartbreaking is the fact that she doesn't want to say that she's an escort to this guy that she likes.
Right.
You know, she likes him a lot, and she doesn't want to say, you know, I'm a sex worker.
Right.
Basically, which is it's heartbreaking in a way, you know?
But also, after watching this, I don't think she wants to tell him that she set him up.
Almost too, yeah. You're
Like,
right. You know, because she knew what Dennis Franz's character, who we haven't met yet, but he was the guy who was running away from the bridge, you know. But like, we haven't met him yet, but like, she doesn't quite want to tell him she knows a little bit more than what she's given out.
Right. You know? So Jack is working with Sam, the producer of the movie, and he comes in and tells him to turn on the news. There's a man that says he was on the scene and he was recording outside, and he recorded the accident. Well, Jack leaves and he gets a magazine that has pictures from this recording from the accident. So like, they splice together his recording, like pictures of it, and put it in a magazine. Anyway,
they used to do this for these kind of things, like stuff they couldn't quite show on the news. They would print these out in magazines in print form, for frame by frame. Is what they do.
There you go. That's what I was looking for. So Jack ends up taking pictures of these pictures so that he can blow them up, and then he makes his own movie out of them. Which
we get to see him piecing all this together.
Oh my God, it's so cool.
Which is really wonderful. Like I said, it's almost like a movie about making movies. It's so cool to see all this old equipment.
Yeah.
And you got to love all the sleuth work he's doing here. You know, Travolta is doing in this movie as he unwinds this mystery. The time it takes De Palma to show all these little procedures to have Jack narrow down the clues, it's something that you couldn't do today. You know, everything's done digitally now with movies. So like, he would have just been like piecing things together on his computer, like downloading the images from a website and throwing it all together on the computer and then pressing play. But here he has to take clippings of the pictures and shoot the pictures with an overhead camera to make a stop motion thing. And then,
yes, it's so cool.
Yeah, he pieces it all together in film and stuff. And I got one thing we haven't really talked about is the sound recording too. It's old reel to reel. So he's taking these magnetic strips of sound, and he's having to place it together with the images.
I love it.
And he's having to line those all up, and you get to see every bit of this, which is really cool.
So Jack calls Sally and wants to take her for a drink, and she going to get on a train, and she says that he can meet her there at the station.
Right.
But she doesn't want to talk very long. So Jack tells Sally how he left his prior job as part of a government commission to root out police corruption.
Mm-hmm.
And he tells her how he did a wiretap for them on a man named Freddie Corso. And while they were listening in on the audio of this wiretap, the audio starts to mess up because the battery in the transmitter is burning Freddie.
Yeah.
And Jack goes to help him, and he knew it was going to blow his cover, but he did it anyway. And he finds Freddie hanging from the bathroom. Yeah,
because they saw him trying to take that wire off the bathroom, so they hung him.
Yeah.
Which a lot of this movie has to do with guilt, too.
Yes.
You know, with these two characters' guilt. You know, they're trying to right, you know, something they feel guilty for, which kind of leads to their undoing.
Yes.
It's really poignant. But this little scene here with Freddie and stuff, this is based on a real event that was outlined in Robert Daley's book, Prince of the City. It was about an investigation into police corruption in 1970s. So this thing actually happened to somebody.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Now, De Palma originally wanted to adapt that book into film, but that never came to fruition. But this scene right here, where this poor motherfucker gets hung in the goddamn bathroom by his own wire. That really explains why I think Travolta's character is so tortured, even at the beginning of this movie. You can just tell something's fucking on him.
Yeah.
Like something's making this guy so fucking dark, because like you look at, like they show you a flashback. They play all this scene back for you. Mm-hmm. And he seems more bouncy. You know, he's excited.
Right.
You know, he's really excited about his wire he made. You know,
Yes.
He's so excited about it.
I think that here, since he knows that this was an assassination, I think he's trying to right all of these wrongs that he did before. I
mean, he's a sound guy, and they don't make it clear if he like maybe was a cop or something, or if he was just this sound guy that they hired to do that.
I think he said he was just the sound guy for that.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Which, if you look on his door to his office, it says the working title of the movie. But anyway. But no, like, yeah, it's all about the guilt, you know, that these characters have for what they've done or what they've contributed to.
Right.
You know?
Which is murder.
Basically.
So Sally tells Jack that she is leaving town because Henry, the governor's assistant, paid her money to disappear. Jack says that they are covering up more than McRyan having an escort.
Right.
And he asked Sally to stay just for a few more days to help him figure it out. She said she will think about it. Yeah.
The conspiracy itself, it is kind of laid out for you, but it's also real ambiguous. You know, he doesn't quite say how deep it goes.
Not yet. 'Cause he doesn't know yet.
Yeah.
He's unsure.
He's unsure. Yeah, he's piecing all the clues together. But I like how De Palma does this. We're more at the mercy of what Jack's doing.
Right.
You know, we do get bits and pieces, especially when we're introduced to Burke here in a little bit. but we do get bits and pieces, but we're really at the mercy of what Jack's doing to unload all the clues for us, which I like that in my mystery movies.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of mystery movies do a thing where they show the main characters doing their thing, but then they also show the villains, like conspiring and putting all this shit together.
Right.
Where, like I said, he does that a little bit in this movie, but he doesn't lay it out. So we're not like, we don't know the whole score here.
Right. And we're figuring it out with him.
Yeah. Which makes, I think, what John Travolta does much more impactful in the movie.
Yeah.
Whereas, and you know, I don't have a movie off the top of my head to compare this to, but a lot of mystery movies do this where, oh, great. Now I know the entire mystery.
Right.
Like, what's the point of this?
And that's what I thought at first. I was like, oh, someone hired a hitman for McRyan so he wasn't going to become president. But it's a little bit more than that. Yeah.
That's what's great about this movie is it does kind of keep you guessing.
Yes. I love that.
Yeah. Now these scenes with the train station and stuff, these were all shot on location in Penn Station in Philadelphia, which
I
they
like that.
yeah, they shot all these at the same time. You know, at the very beginning of the shoot, that's the first scenes that they shot. But I like when De Palma shoots in locations that are familiar and personal to him. I don't know if you noticed this in this movie as opposed to the other De Palma films that you've seen, but like this one just feels more cared for, like the shots and stuff that he takes.
Oh, I don't know.
Like or the scenery, I guess is what I should say.
Right.
Like what's funny about this movie is it's on a small scale when you really look at it, but it feels so bigger than what it is.
Right.
Which I think also helps with the conspiracy that we're working with.
Yes.
You know?
I like when they film things in location.
Yeah, we have real locations here.
Yes,
is
I
what
like
we're working
that.
off of. Real Philadelphia locations and stuff, especially at the end with that parade, the Mummers Parade
Yes.
with the Liberty Bell thing. That's awesome, man. That has some of the best shots of this entire movie.
Oh yeah. But I like movies that do this where they shoot on location.
It's pretty cool.
And I understand why they don't.
More expensive half the time.
Right.
You know, a lot of your budget will go to film licenses and stuff, unless you want to shoot guerrilla style, which then you won't get all the shots of the city. You know?
Right.
You're just going to get quick little outside
You're gonna
shots.
get what you get.
Yeah, because you got to fucking run away from the authorities. But what's really cool about this movie, what like really like lends to its mood, is that 70% of it was shot at night.
Yes. Oh yeah.
Yeah, Zygmunt, he just shot this thing straight with little diffusing and basically zero flashing, which meant he kept the lens work to a minimum. So except for there are parts of this movie that are shot by someone else. Kovacs, I think was that guy's name, because 2 reels of film were stolen from a truck.
Oh
Yeah,
no.
this guy who was delivering the film he stopped at a Dunkin' Donuts and just left the van unattended.
Oh no.
And someone came and stole the van with the film in it.
Oh no.
So they had to go back and reshoot, you know.
That's not good.
I think luckily I think they had insurance, so they used some of the insurance money to shoot it.
Oh, probably so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So a woman is walking near the bus station and a man grabs her and pulls her through the door. And they end up rolling down this hill because I don't know what the fuck's behind this door, but
It's like a construction site. There's like a pit.
yeah. So they go rolling down this hill, and when they stop, the woman is dead and the man ends up carving something into her stomach. And we figure out that this man is Burke.
Yep, who's played amazingly by John Lithgow.
Oh, I love John Lithgow.
Well, he does a great job in this movie, doesn't he? He's fucking
Yes.
scary.
That's what I love about John Lithgow is he's fucking scary. He makes a perfect fucking villain.
Right. And you don't get any like backstory on who Burke is or anything like that.
We don't
Like,
need it.
He's not a well fleshed out character, but you know he's he's like a fucking government spook.
Yeah.
He's scary in this fucking movie. And he barely talks. That's one of the things that's so crazy is that like he can play fucking crazy without talking. I think that's what makes John Lithgow's villains and stuff that he does much more scary.
Oh, yeah.
But now Lithgow obviously isn't a stranger to playing killers or villains. You know, I think this is his strongest work here. But, you know, he'd go on to be famous for the Trinity Killer and Dexter and just
You
all.
think this is his strongest?
I really do.
You ever watch Dexter, man? Oh.
He does a great job in Dexter.
Mm-hmm.
But he's a little cartoony in that movie. In that
You
show.
think so?
I think he's a little cartoony.
I think he's supposed to be, though.
Well, yeah. Because what Dexter is kind of going for is a little bit more of a B quality.
Yeah.
Like I always call Dexter polished B movie. You know, like a polished B movie characters and stuff.
I guess. I don't know. I thought he did amazing in
A
that
lot of
movie.
people disagree with me there, so it's okay. But I think like when he plays characters like this, it's so good. Like he's not overacting in this movie,
Right.
which he has in the past in a lot of his. I mean, you go look at Buckaroo Banzai, which is arguably a movie that requires him to overact. But I really do like when he's under direction of someone like De Palma
Yeah.
because he's such a good fucking actor. You know, and De Palma would go on to work with him again in Raising Cain, where he plays an insane guy so well in that fucking movie. And again, it's De Palma, so he gets such a good fucking performance out of Lithgow.
I like that.
Yeah, which I fucking love Lithgow. You know, I'm not hating on him. I'm not hating on him for Dexter or anything like that, but I do feel like characters like this are so much stronger when he plays them.
I don't agree with you. I'm going to heavily disagree on that.
but he definitely sells crazy.
Oh,
yeah. He definitely sells crazy.
He's definitely a psycho.
Yeah, because, I mean, I think we come to find out that he didn't have to kill a few people. They're like, wait, what? What are you doing? Hang on.
Are you talking about in this movie?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, wait, what? Hang on.
He's doing it for a reason, though.
Yeah, he does. He has a plan.
I mean,
he has a plan. It's a good idea.
I guess.
I mean, because there's a reason why he's carving something into this lady's stomach. It's not just because he's a crazy guy.
Right.
Like,
he is killing her for a reason. I mean, he didn't have to kill her. No.
Right. He does.
But
yeah.
But it did work out.
But he does sell the fact that, like, because like I said, you don't get much backstory. You don't get like the fucking ambiguous scene, or not ambiguous, but the gratuitous scene of them handing him money or anything like that. You know, you don't get that kind of villain fucking monologues.
He's not like hee in the corner.
Or twitching his mustache or anything, which honestly, I've seen a lot of political thrillers and a lot of conspiracy movies, and a lot of the villains tend to fucking do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they tend to lean that way. But his character actually is based partially on G. Gordon Liddy, who, if you're a history buff, he was a huge player in the Watergate scandal.
Oh.
He was like an FBI spook guy, and he'd fucking yeah. go look that up. We don't have the time to fucking go into G. Gordon Liddy. Actually, I think he passed away in 2001 or 2021. Sorry. But like I said, Lithgow's great here. But another character I love in this is the score. The score to this movie. That's right.
Does a character?
Oh, it is. I always say a good score can be like another character for your movie.
I guess so.
Did you notice the score at all in this? Again, you're a casual moviegoer. It's forgivable.
I don't remember.
It's fucking forgivable. It's fine.
It wasn't memorable for me, I guess I should say.
To me, it helps with the doomed atmosphere that this movie is. I mean, this movie's a tragedy.
Real doom.
Yeah,
Sorry.
well, it is. It's a tragic movie.
Yeah.
You know, which we'll get to why at the end of this movie. But that Pino Donaggio, he creates that score here that's just wonderfully doomed and scary, like real dark and mysterious and stuff like that. But Pino, he scored Carrie for Brian De Palma, and so they've worked together on a bunch of films. But it's funny because Pino barely speaks any English. And,
oh wow.
Yeah, and De Palma barely speaks Italian, but they work so well together when they get together. And De Palma said that what he would do is mostly they would communicate through hand signals and stuff like that. Yeah. And like he would draw up kind of an idea of what he wanted for the movie. Mm-hmm. And Pino just went with that, and made it, expanded it and made it much more, a score. Musicians and stuff, they don't tend to do that when they score your movie. Like someone like, Ennio Morricone, like is not going to fucking take your scribbles of what you kind of want to hear. He's going to score the movie. Well, he would. May rest in peace. But but no, I love the score here. I think it lends real great to this because this is also. And have we talked about what a neo-noir movie is?
Yes, kind of.
Yeah, we kind of touched on that when we did Blue Velvet over on our Patreon. But like, it's kind of along the lines of a neo-noir movie as well. You have real dark characters, real dark circumstances and stuff like that. And just real, like, it feels like this movie could have been shot in the 1940s.
Yeah.
Is what I'm getting at.
For sure. I do agree with that.
Yeah.
So Sally goes to visit Carp. That's the guy with the video of the crash. And Sally says that he almost got her killed the other night because he was supposed to be the one that saved her from the car, but Jack got there first. So we know now that Sally and Carp are in cahoots with each other. And that was a twist that I did not expect.
Right? You don't see that coming.
Yeah.
Because you do see him run, and run across the bridge earlier
Right.
on when Jack goes and dives into the water, which it's kind of freaky because and I love how she's like, why didn't you come and try to save? He's like, well, I mean, he was doing a better job than I was.
Right. He's like, I don't do good in the water.
Which makes you wonder, was she supposed to just die?
No, I don't think she thought she was supposed to die.
I think that's what they were going with. I think they were going to have that guy drown in a car with a fucking escort.
Yeah.
And yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah, they were setting him up.
Oh, you know what though? This is what confused me. This scene confused me, okay?
Okay.
Because Burke was the one that shot out the tire.
Right.
But how did Carp and Sally have anything to do with that? Because I don't think they really did. I thought they were just supposed to take pictures of Sally in the car with...
Well, no. I think what was happening, I think Sally thought, and by the way, you guys, this is just our reading,
Right.
Come along with us here. But I think Sally thought, because again, remember, this movie is it's kind of about the deceitfulness of a movie itself. The things that we see and hear aren't necessarily true. So I think Sally thought that Burke was just supposed to take pictures and then come get her out of the car.
Right.
When it went in. I don't think she had any idea what Burke was doing, but I think Carp did. I think he knew, and I think he was only there to videotape it to make it look like a blowout happened.
Right.
And nobody thought that fucking John Travolta's character Jack would be out there recording sound.
But I don't think that Sally knew that there was supposed to be a blowout. I think she thought they were only supposed to take pictures.
Oh yeah.
I don't think she knew about the wreck at all.
Oh, okay.
Or why would she get in the car if it was going to wreck?
Well, why would she ask him why he didn't save her?
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, see, that's what I mean. Yeah.
I don't know. See, that's where I was confused.
It's great.
Yeah.
It's great. The mystery in this movie is a really thick mystery, even though that's what's funny about this movie is there's so much to dissect and to talk about, even though it seems simple.
Right. There's depths to it.
Yeah.
So Jack is putting together the pictures to make a video, and put sound to it. Mm-hmm. When he puts it away, someone is watching through the window, and they see that he puts it in the ceiling tile. Right. Or we see it.
Yeah.
I don't know that someone is actually there.
Well, I think somebody
now
is.
That I think about
because
it.
later on, he does come back to find somebody's tampered with his footage.
Yeah, but not the stuff in the ceiling tile.
Well, maybe. I don't know. Well, okay, so what's your
They make you think that.
Yeah, what you're getting at is what De Palma's trying to do to you is the shots that are in this movie that are showing the voyeuristic kind of shots and stuff. They draw you in with growing paranoia. They make you paranoid.
Right.
Maybe
but
somebody's watching, maybe somebody's
but
not.
But obviously someone wasn't because that was still there.
Right. So, but you thought, is somebody fucking watching him?
Yeah.
What, the paranoia is starting to get to you as the viewer, which you got to love when a movie fucking does this. When the movie draws you in and gives you the feelings of the character.
Yeah.
There are so many shots like that. And this one that happens that, where you're fucking swirling around and they make things complicated for you. But these shots, not just complicated in your mind, they were really complicated to get done.
Oh yeah.
He had to do later on in the movie, there's a shot where you're spinning around the room as John Travolta's going crazy looking for stuff.
Yes.
And that gets you, that draws you in. But a shot like that, where he had to spin the camera around and stuff like that to get that swirling shot, but also end up landing on a dead on shot of John Travolta. And then in the background, his, what is it? A secretary or somebody walks in.
Oh yeah.
To do that, you had to shoot this a bunch of times because one little thing would ruin the shot, so you got to remember these simple little shots that draw you in are very complicated to pull off.
Not so simple.
Yeah, not a lot. And I think that's why not a lot of people use shots like this aside from Brian De Palma and Hitchcock in a way, you know, because like I said, De Palma, you could say, was a student of Hitchcock. You know, he doesn't steal from Hitchcock, but he takes a lot of how Hitchcock used camera.
Right.
styles.
His inspiration.
Yeah. Like you think back on Psycho, you know,
Yeah.
the Psycho movie. You see a tracking shot, a real complicated tracking shot of Norman Bates walking up to the house. Simple. It could have been just a simple shot, but it's you see Norman Bates walking up, shot of the house, you know, and we're cutting and we're intercutting and stuff. And there's so many different camera techniques that are going on
Yeah.
in one simple movement, which that's what, you know, we have here. But yes, you also get the lovely use of split diopter to create deep focus, where basically both things are in focus instead of the background being blurred. You know, we talked about this earlier.
Yeah.
But you get to see everything in the frame. And like I said, it's just a wonderful way to deliver info.
Yeah. I like it a lot.
You know, a lot of people have complained about split screen in Brian De Palma films. Aside from the split diopter, I think that's just a fucking beautiful way to shoot a movie. But a lot of people do complain about the split screen. But to me, it's more of an honest way to show you a movie.
I like to see it all.
Well, because we as humans have two eyes.
Right.
You know, that we can process different information. Like I can hold up two cans. One isn't blurred if I hold it out here.
Right.
You know? One
not
isn't
how
blurred.
we-
Yeah, that's
yeah.
not how our eyes work. So I think it's just a more honest way of showing you two scenes.
So Jack goes to talk to the detective and tell him this was an assassination and not an accident. But the guy doesn't care what Jack has to say because they're covering it up. But whatever.
Yeah.
But he does agree to take the tape that Jack made. So Jack then goes to see Carp, but he can't find him. But the security guard shows him pictures of Carp and Sally in bed together.
Which this is where he figures it out, you know.
He's like, oh shit, they're in this together.
Yeah, oh shit, you know, he pieces this together.
Yeah.
There's something graceful about Travolta in this movie. You know,
Yeah.
the way he moves and the way he makes stuff that could be super boring very interesting just in the way he moves, I felt.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, like even just him sitting on a park bench or something we see in the movie where he's just sitting on a bench or something. I can't remember. Just fucking thinking. You know, it's such a cool fucking, I don't know. I really wish that we really do get to see more of this Travolta through his career.
Right.
It's almost frustrating to me. Like John Travolta is.
Yeah,
Because I know he's a fucking amazing actor.
right.
But it seems like he gets these roles that are just, and maybe that's his choice, but he gets these roles that do not show it off.
Right.
You know, even today, he's an amazing actor, but he has these roles that don't fucking treat him right.
Maybe he's just, I don't know. He's just a bad picker. I don't know.
Maybe. You know, I watched the Fred Durst film, The Fan.
There's a Fred Durst movie?
Yeah, there's a Fred Durst movie, and that, as garbage as that movie is, I actually enjoyed it because it's just so shitty. But as garbage as that movie is, Travolta is fucking amazing in it.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm like, God, can someone get him more serious roles? Because he
Right.
can fucking pull it off.
Yeah.
You know, even in his older age now.
I'm going to say yeah.
Yeah, and maybe it's the Scientology thing. Who fucking knows? I
Is
don't
he?
know.
Oh.
Yeah, he's a Scientologist. There's a lot to him that Scientology, I think, has fucked over.
Yeah.
You know, like the bald thing. For years, we had Travolta wearing wigs that looked so shitty. I'm not blaming that on Scientology itself. It could just be him wanting to hang on because, you know, he always had a luscious head of hair in the beginning of his career.
Right.
But it's like, dude, you look good bald.
Yeah, he looks just fine.
Yeah, I think it was Pitbull that convinced him to go bald. And so now he's bald and he looks great.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, you pull it off. It's great. And it's just, it's just so frustrating.
Right.
Like, so maybe it's Scientology that keeps him from getting roles like this. I don't know.
Who knows?
I don't know. He's just the most frustrating actor to me. because I know how good he can be.
You could do better.
Yeah, I mean, and we talked about it on Pulp Fiction. You know, Tarantino told him to his face. It's like, I know how good you can be.
Right.
And you keep getting these roles that suck.
Right.
And so, like, and that's why he gave him Vincent in Pulp Fiction, which you got to agree is like, during that part of his career, that's the best fucking acting he had done in years. You know?
Yeah. I'm gonna have to agree with that.
And maybe it's just because his audience wants, you know, there are people who love John Travolta, who follow John Travolta, obsess about him. Maybe they just want to see him as the character from Grease.
I guess so.
Which so much better than what that is. You know, he's so much better than that.
Oh yeah. That was just some teenage punk kid, like.
Yeah,
this is way better.
That was a fucking musical. I wish people could get over fucking Grease when it comes to Travolta.
Yes.
And he would go on to play better characters. You know, he was in Face Off with Nicolas Cage. He plays an amazing character in that. He's a villain in that.
Oh wow.
You know, well, the Face Off Nicolas Cage is actually John. It's fucking confusing to try to explain, but in that movie, he's supposed to play a villain. He does it really well. Broken Arrow with Christian Slater. He does an amazing job in that fucking movie. And so, but those roles are so few and far between that, like, I'm just like, he's frustratingly good to me. I don't know.
So Burke is at a payphone talking to a man. And I guess he wasn't supposed to kill McRyan, but did anyway.
Oh, okay. So this goes back to what we were talking about. You know, so was this all just Burke's doing?
Yeah, I think so. Because he says, because the other guy on the phone, he's like, no, we scrapped that plan. We weren't supposed to do that. And he was like, well, I did it anyway.
Wow.
Yeah, I guess you didn't catch that. He's like, I did it anyway.
Yeah, no, I caught it, but I just now am piecing that together.
Yes. Burke says that he was doing what was asked of him because McRyan was supposed to be taken out of the running for president. And he said he changed the tire out to make it look like a blowout. He erased the sound guy's tapes to make it look like he is a crackpot, and he will find Carp. And he has decided to kill Sally and make it look like a series of sex killings.
So is he getting orders from some other shadowy area and stuff over these guys?
Yeah.
Which is, again, like, it's left ambiguous, but this shit runs deep. So it might even go to the president himself because, you know, they were talking on the news station earlier how the president was beaten by that McRyan guy.
Yeah.
So it looked like in those fake polls or whatever they ran, the test polls, that like fucking McRyan won by a landslide.
Right. He was going to win. But Burt covered it up. And like we were talking about earlier, he didn't necessarily need to kill those women. Because he didn't need to make up a fucking serial killer. He didn't need to do that.
No, true. I guess he could have just killed Sally and just went on with it. But
right. Like, because nobody knew fucking Sally was there except for Jack.
Right.
Like,
and he's killing these women to make it look like there's a fucking serial killer loose,
right.
Which is...
It ends up hurting him in the long run.
It does. A lot of the actions that people do in this really does kind of come to their downfall.
Yeah.
You know, with Sally, you know, well, poor Sally. She didn't really do anything that terrible. But, you know, what she does comes to her downfall. What John Travolta, his obsession over finding out the truth and stuff comes to his downfall because really he could have just let it go. Right. But he kept pursuing it. And with Burke, his actions here, you know, lead to what happens at the end for him. Right. It's very, very, very rich, this movie, man. Yes. I love it.
There's a lot of things.
Now, De Palma had done movies with slight politics and stuff, Greetings at High Mom and stuff like that. But this is his first overtly politically charged movie, you know, and having lived through the JFK assassination, De Palma got to experience firsthand the feeling of paranoia and conspiracy that plagued everyone at the time. Yeah. You know, he talks about, like, when he was doing this movie, you know, that magazine you see where Travolta takes the clippings out of. Yeah. Like magazines like that existed, you know, which the Zapruder film seen frame by frame, just right there, you know. It's really interesting to think back, though. Like, and this is before our time, but like you go back and look at old news footage of that, Like they were showing the Zapruder film on fucking primetime TV. So you got to see the president's head blown off.
I saw it in history class.
Yeah, well, I saw the Zapruder film in history class too. We saw fucking brains come out of that man's head.
I was like, are we allowed to watch
Yeah, it's very interesting the way we treat violence in this country.
Yes. I was like, I don't think
It's
I'm
like, well,
supposed to
this is
watch.
history. It's like, yeah, but I just saw the president's brains come out. They're supposed to be in that skull. They're not supposed to be in the air like that.
I don't think you're supposed to be showing us 16-year-olds.
It's wild. Yeah. But, he got to experience that because that stuff does make you paranoid.
Yeah.
Like if you get deep into conspiracy theories and deep into listening to these things and reading about them, not so much me because I just find them boring. But like for the average person, like they make you paranoid and you start coming up with different things and it's wild, and really that's what this movie makes you feel.
Yeah.
That's the feeling of this movie.
So Jack goes to get a tape for Sam because he's still supposed to be doing his job.
Right.
And he's not doing it. But he discovers that all his tapes are blank. While Jack is checking all of these tapes, the room is spinning like we had talked about earlier.
Yeah.
And we're seeing him frantically running around checking all of these tapes on all of these machines. Well, then the phone rings and it's the detective. And he says the tape that Jack gave him was blank also.
So somebody was watching him then. See, that shit like plays with you, doesn't it?
No, because he didn't take him the tape from the.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
He took him a copy of the tape.
Okay, yeah, you're right. But I mean, that's again, like, this shit's playing with you.
Yes.
And again, back on this spinning scene, man, that feeling, like what John Travolta's feeling here, that like desperateness and stuff, and that like, oh shit kind of feeling.
Yes.
That comes across in this spinning camera technique. If we were just a wide shot of him searching this room, I don't think we would have got the same feeling off of it.
I agree.
Yeah, which when some people complain about the shots that De Palma reuses and stuff like that, I think really it's just to convey emotion and with stuff like this.
Mm-hmm.
Like like the other, I keep calling back to Carrie because that's the only other
movie that I have.
Yeah, besides Phantom of the Paradise, which is a different beast in itself.
Right.
Like it has spinning effects and stuff like that, but it's a music,
It's a different kind of movie.
Yeah, it's a different kind of movie. But like with Carrie, they use that spinning when they're on the dance floor.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, they use that kind of spinning technique that like they're on a Lazy Susan being spun around.
Right.
And that also conveys a sense of wonder. It's funny how he can use these same kind of shots, but to different effects and in different motions.
Right.
Of what's happening in the scene.
Oh, for sure. A news reporter comes to talk to Jack because he heard from somebody that Jack thinks that this was an assassination attempt and that Jack was looking into it.
It's kind of funny. Do you think this is Burke's doing?
Maybe.
Because like he said, he's trying to make him look like a crackpot. So if he's like sitting there saying this was a fucking conspiracy and then all his tapes are blank, he's going to look like a crazy man.
Right. Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right. And he wants Jack to release the tape to the public. Well, he wants to release the tape to the public and have Jack talk on air to the public about this tape.
He's like,
he's like, I don't know about that.
I can't really do that, man.
Right.
But what I appreciate about older movies like this is we don't get a lot of close up of people's faces.
Right.
Especially with De Palma. Every shot is not boring here. But like there's something about movies nowadays where especially TV stuff, and I think stuff that goes exclusively into Netflix. Whenever someone's talking, we're getting so many shots of close-ups of their faces.
Yeah.
Like it's so tight. And you're like, can you pull the fucking camera back a little bit?
Right.
Because like you watch movies like this, like De Palma especially, he always has those two shots, which a two shot is when two characters sitting there discussing something and we're pulled away from them. Because then we're getting to see people use their hands. We're getting to see other things that they're doing. It's interesting to me when somebody's talking to somebody and you're seeing them pull a cigarette out and light it up and stuff like that.
It feels real.
Yeah.
Like a real conversation.
Yeah, unlike the conversations like I just mentioned where it's
Yeah.
just fucking close-ups of their faces and they're talking and then next scene.
Right. Because that's not how you see people. When you're having conversations with people, that's not how you see them.
Yeah, which you could also argue that that's another voyeurism technique that De Palma deploys. You know, it feels like we're watching them talk.
I guess. But
Yeah.
I like movies like that. I like watching people talk and just doing natural
Well, it's
things
it's
like I was
fucking interesting.
like I'm in the room.
You know, it makes the dialogue scenes, which could feel kind of long and drawn out in some movies,
Mhm.
it makes them more interesting. Like, think about sorry to bring up Tarantino again, but I'm trying to stick the references with movies that you've seen.
Right.
So, you know, you take a Tarantino movie, like, he's not just close up on their faces while they're having these long dialogue scenes.
Right.
People are doing stuff. People are sipping their drinks or they're fucking shuffling cards or they're loading guns. You know, they're doing stuff.
Yeah.
And that's what it makes it a lot more interesting to watch because we're watching a fucking movie, not reading a book,
Right.
you know? And I think these older movies, though, especially, they do that a lot. You know, they give you a full view. These people could be having the most mundane conversation ever, but you get to see them while
Right.
they're having it.
So Jack takes his master copy from the ceiling
Yeah.
to Sally, and he says that they're going to think that he's a phony, that he just made this up. And he tells Sally that he knows she was in the car with McRyan to set him up. He tells her she needs to get the original tapes so they can get everyone to see it and hopefully get the people caught before they Jack and Sally end
Right,
up dead. Because he just knows that they're going to fucking die.
Oh, yeah, because, I mean, he's already on to that. This goes a lot deeper
Right.
than maybe what he was thinking originally, which is, you know, you're like, oh, fuck, we're going to fucking die now.
Right. We're going to get murdered.
Yeah, yeah.
So Sally goes to talk to Carp, and she wants to know how she ended up in the car almost dead. And he says that they got hired by McRyan's opponent to frame him, but he wasn't supposed to die. He tells her to keep her mouth shut and take the money. And he starts to like hold her down and kiss her. And she has to hit him over the head with the bottle of liquor that she has.
Yeah.
And then she takes his tapes.
Which, you know, she gets to learn that she was just a fucking patsy in this whole experience.
Right.
So, like, and that's what I just don't ever go into I think it's just safe to say don't ever get into a limo with a fucking presidential candidate.
Right.
It's just not a good idea.
Chances are that you might be murdered.
You might be an accessory to a fucking conspiracy.
Right.
Which, it's funny to think about, but like, I wonder how much of this stuff they really do, you know? How much of this stuff, like, is real? Yeah, that's one of the things which conspiracy theories bug me and they bore me a little bit is because I think of the stuff that we're not talking about is more the shadowy stuff that they do.
Right.
And I feel like sometimes what, like, you know, the government and, you know, these people playing politics and stuff, I think a lot of what they do is out in the open.
Well, you think so?
I really do. Because if all these conspiracies were fucking true, right?
Mhm.
Why do we know about them?
That's true.
Yeah, and I think we're giving our government way too much credit,
That's true.
you know, with all these like really complex conspiracies and stuff. Like you look at the JFK conspiracy. You could go like a million different ways with the shadowy government and people assassinating, you know, it might have been the Russians or, you know, all this fucking things. And then you look at this one story, and you guys owe it to yourself to look this up if you really get into conspiracy theories. But there is a story about how the Secret Service that were with JFK went out partying and they all got fucking plastered drunk and they were all hung over the next day. And there's a story about how somebody had seen, and maybe there's a picture or something, but they had one guy who was kind of new in charge of the AR-15.
Oh, no.
And he was... This is funny, but he was like standing up in another like car down the street and he fell at the same time you heard a gunshot.
Oh.
So there's a whole conspiracy that sounds like our government's so fucking stupid that they shot the president.
I mean, I could see that happening.
See, that I find more believable
Yeah.
than fucking somebody like hired, Lee Harvey Oswald as a fucking patsy.
Right.
You know?
Oh, I could see that. And they can't release that. They can't
No,
be like,
they're never going to fucking admit to that because,
Right.
oh my God, the Secret Service is blowing the president's head off.
right. Oh, that's a bad day for HR right there. Is there an HR of the presidency?
What is the meeting like after that? Oh man, Bill just shot the fucking president. Holy fuck. Just in the fucking HR.
Okay.
So I'm sure you know why you're here today. I told them 8 whiskey sours was too much.
I know that I know last week we talked about you guys bonding as a team. This isn't what we meant.
But maybe going out the night before and getting plastered ass drunk was not the right way when you had to guard the president's life the next day.
Right.
Why couldn't that skinny bastard in the library actually shoot him? It had to be you. You couldn't have just let him take the shot.
Oh my God.
I don't know. I just feel like our government is so inept that it's given way too much credit that there's this shadowy fucking corporation that does things behind the lines. And no.
I bet it was as simple as that.
I bet it's just a fucking flub. Or Lee Harvey Oswald really did shoot JFK. I don't know. But...
Who knows?
Hey, Oswald. That's my favorite fucking video ever. I'm sorry, you guys. I'm demented. But I like the Jack Ruby assassination where he goes up and shoots Lee Harvey Oswald in the stomach. Hey, Oswald. And blam.
Okay.
It's funny to me. I don't know.
Anyway,
back to this conspiracy.
yes.
Which, by the way, Carp is played by Dennis Franz, who I don't think you've seen anything with him in it. He's been in Die Hard 2. He was in NYPD Blue. He had a long stint on that. But if you notice out of what I've been saying, he plays one of two characters, a cop or a sleazebag.
Nice.
And in this, he's a wonderful sleazebag.
Yes. So Jack calls the news reporter and he wants Jack to tell his story on air and show the tape like we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
Well, Jack agrees to whatever this man says because he wants the story out there too. Then we see that Burke has the phone line tapped and he's listening to all of this go on. Yeah,
which again, his obsession with like uncovering the truth and getting the real story out there kind of really does work against him in this movie.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's a tragic movie, when you get down to the story.
Yeah.
But like I love how there's like two things fueling Jack in this movie is his guilt and his he also has a bit of voyeurism, but also this fucking obsession he has. 'Cause really he could have just dropped it right now.
Yeah.
Could have dropped it, got Sally, and they could have fucking left on the train.
Right. Just leave it in the past. Like,
yeah.
You're not going to win.
Yeah.
Against the government.
Yeah, because it's up in the air whether Burke would have fucking found him and still killed Sally, but maybe not if they would have taken the money and left.
If they would have just left, yeah.
Yeah.
So Sally gets a call from Burke pretending to be this reporter, and he wants to meet with her. So she goes to see Jack before she goes to meet up with this reporter, that is Burke, and says that the reporter wants her to take the tape alone. Jack says that this isn't right, and the reporter should have called him, but Sally says his phone has been messed up all day. So Jack doesn't feel right about this, so he wants to wire her before she goes because he wants to listen in on everything.
Yeah.
Burke ends up killing another sex worker to further cover up his plan to kill Sally. Sally gets wired up and is waiting, and Burke comes up and tells her that he thinks they are being watched.
Which again, Lithgow is given a fucking amazing performance here. He's playing Duel, which is great. He's such a fucking good villain.
Oh, yeah.
But also, back on that Burke killing that other sex worker, that was cool, man. Like, you get another split diopter of him grabbing the ice pick.
Yeah.
and stuff, which is a wonderful fucking shot. I'm sorry, I got to point out all these fucking glorious shots, but also in this movie, the use of color too is a really cool thing. You know, he uses like the street lights and stuff, like the reds and the blues.
Oh yeah, there's a when they're in the motel,
Yeah,
the fucking wall is like red and blue, but in the angle that he shoots it, it almost looks purple. Like,
yeah, it
I don't
almost
know,
has
it's
like
really
a 3D quality to it too.
yeah,
It's just even the like the sets and stuff, I just come to life in this
Yeah.
fucking movie. Like, it's a beautiful fucking movie to look at. I told you this. I was like, when I first saw this movie, I don't know what it was about it, but it's relaxing, even though it's a tense thriller. Because
I think it's the mood lighting it of
yeah,
like being at night and you're in the city, but you're not like in like LA.
right. It's the
Yeah.
same. It's the same kind of feeling you get when you read a really good book, even though that book might be scary and it might be tense and thrilling and action packed.
Mm-hmm.
It's still like that feeling of just like you're relaxed.
Right.
And you get that relaxation feeling, I think, from the way this thing looks. And that's what draws you into this story.
Right. So Burke telling her that he thinks that they're being watched triggers Jack, and he runs inside and he knows something is wrong. Well, Burke and Sally are going to take the subway, but Jack can't hear them very well because I think he has to be close to them.
Yeah, it's kind of like that scene earlier where he was talking about as long as you're with them, like nearby, you can hear whatever's going on.
Yeah. So they end up getting on the subway, and Jack takes the car because he thinks he knows where they're going. Well, Jack ends up driving through this
Oh,
parade
man.
and crashing into a storefront.
It's so fucking cool, man. This is it's a really cool fucking car chase.
Yeah.
And this Liberty Day parade was filmed with like 11 cameras, 1,000 extras, 25 stunt drivers, plus help from the Philadelphia fire and police departments.
Oh, dang.
It's a really complex scene.
Yeah.
One of the best shots I feel though during this is that helicopter mounted rig that they have that shows
Oh,
up
yeah.
above where Travolta's driving through.
Yes.
It's so
Yeah.
fucking good, man.
It's pretty awesome.
And I have never seen a police, a horse mounted police officer fucking take a spill like this. Did you see that?
I guess I didn't catch that.
There's a part where he drives past them and stuff like that. And they go to chase him. And is this a mistake? Because the fucking horse falls over.
Oh, I don't know.
But that horse fucking eats it. I was like, oh God.
I guess I didn't catch that. That's so funny.
But no, I love a good car chase, you know, and even though he's, you know, no one's chasing him or anything like that, he's chasing them.
Right.
It's still very fucking good.
Yeah. He's dumb, but good.
Again, it's that obsession with the truth and stuff. He should have stopped her. He knew something was wrong.
Right.
I feel like he knew something was wrong. He should have fucking kept her back. He should have kept her from doing this, and they should have just dropped it.
Right. Why the fuck did you let her go out
Yeah,
there?
earlier in the movie, the cops, everybody keeps telling him to fucking drop it,
Right.
you know, but he keeps fucking pursuing.
Shut the fuck up and
Yeah.
just run away. So Burke and Sally stop by the water. I don't know. There's a fucking bridge and water. I don't know.
Yeah.
And Sally gives him the tape. She's just like, yeah, here it is. Like, she's so fucking excited. Anyway, she gives him the tape in the movie and he throws it in the water. Then Bert starts to attack her. He's got this piano wire. That's how he's been killing the other people.
Yeah.
And he starts to choke her. Well, Jack comes to in an ambulance and he's hearing what's going on. So he knows that they're close.
Mm-hmm.
So he runs to go find them. And Burke ends up taking Sally up to the Liberty Bell
Yeah.
or building next to it, whatever it is. And then we get this slow motion of Jack running to save her.
It is goddamn fucking heart wrenching.
Oh, yeah.
Like, because, well, here's the thing. Okay, so this movie could have ended, you know, it's going to end one or two ways. You kind of lean towards Jack saving the day here.
Yeah.
You really do lean towards it.
Oh, yeah.
And this is what I think turned a lot of people off about this movie, is the way this thing ends.
Right. So we get this really awesome slow motion. And he gets to Burke, and Burke has this ice pick in his hand,
Yeah.
and Jack grabs his hand and makes him stab himself in the stomach a bunch of times. Then he realizes that Sally didn't make it. She's dead. And he sobs, and he is holding her. And above him is the fireworks show from this parade.
It is a gorgeous fucking shot.
Oh my gosh.
Because we get more, it's like a slow motion spinning this time. But the whole while, like, you're seeing him react to this girl's death. You know, this girl that I think he was falling for her a little bit, but I think the obsession got in the way.
Right.
You know, I think honestly, if he fell fully, if he let himself fall fully for her, I think they would have, like I said, they would have just fucking skipped town.
Right. Right.
But then you wouldn't have a movie. but like just this shot of him just fucking reacting to her dead, and the sound cuts out.
Yes.
You know, there's no sound effects or anything. It's all score here.
Which is crazy with the fireworks above them and stuff. I don't know.
Yeah.
I really liked this.
It's
shot.
gorgeous, man.
Yeah.
But it's also, like I said, it's just such a heart-wrenching scene.
Yeah.
It's so cool to see, like, it's cool, but it's so interesting the way he shoots this here, because you have an act of celebration going on around this fucking
right, and nobody
horrific
knows
scene.
what's going on because it's
Yeah.
like on a rooftop or something.
Yeah. So like he's all alone with this, but that's why I say I think he did truly care for her, even though you got a different reading than I did. But I think he truly cared for her because I mean the emotions he shows here, at the
right?
end. And maybe I don't. Well, then again, I don't know. Maybe it's just more guilt
that he sent her in there to that. Yeah. That's how I felt.
Really,
I didn't feel like it was love. I felt like it was like a partnership, and he screwed her over.
Oh, maybe not. Maybe not intentionally.
Right.
Yeah.
Like he didn't mean to like send her to her death, and I think that's what he was upset about. I just didn't feel any chemistry there. I think he used her to try to figure this out. Not use her in a bad way, but he knew that he needed her. He used her, and then he got her killed.
Oh.
Just like the other guy.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I understand.
Yeah. And I think that later on, or at the very end, because we have a little bit more, but
Yeah.
I think he's tortured because he's done this again.
Yeah.
He's fucked up again.
It's such a fucking. We'll get to it.
Yeah.
I'll let you finish here.
So the news reports that the Liberty Bell Strangler killed 2 more women, but Sally ended up killing him before she died. So Jack made it look like Sally did this.
Right.
I think he did that in her honor.
I think so, because he kind of, does he give her a redemption thing here at the end? Or
That's what I feel like.
Yeah.
So then we see that Jack uses Sally's scream for the movie from the beginning.
Yeah, because the perfect scream ended up being hers, which is
right, because it was sheer terror.
Such a fucking dark ass ending.
Oh yeah,
that's a way to fucking end this movie. It is a depressing fucking ending.
Yes,
but I don't know, like just that shot there at the end where the Sam. The director, I guess, of this movie, he looks at him, he's like, that is the perfect scream and stuff. And he goes back and you just see him just smoking a cigarette, just fucking.
He's just sad. Yeah.
Tortured fucking look. Travolta, no words. Travolta conveys everything in this one shot. Man, that's what I'm saying, man. Travolta's such an amazing actor. It's frustrating.
Right.
But anyway, what a depressing ass ending. But Blowout premiered on July 24th, 1981 to pretty much all positive reviews.
Nice.
That's the strangeness of this, is that Blowout may not have done well at the box office, but it did great with anyone who watched it. Roger Ebert gave it a 4-star review, noting that the film was very intelligent. He said it's a very intelligent film for how simple the plot is and how the film does not condescend. It doesn't patronize the audience.
Right.
It doesn't treat its audience as being stupid.
Right.
I think that's what's so good about this movie, and it being a conspiracy movie is because, like I said, a lot of these conspiracy movies tend to kind of patronize the audience.
Right.
They tend to talk down to the audience. You know, it's explaining every little bit, you know, of something that like, it's like, okay, but if you just show us that,
Right.
which De Palma does that. He
Right.
shows you everything that you need to know, and he doesn't treat you like an idiot.
I do appreciate that.
Yeah, yeah. And so why did it do so poorly? You know,
I don't know.
This movie is such a mystery to me of why it did so poorly at the box office. I mean, there's a few things. Like, first, it had a terrible word of mouth with this ending. You know, marketing was there, but absolutely no one aside from critics were crazy about this fucking ending here. Anybody who saw this had nothing but horrible things to say about how the film ends on such a bleak fucking note.
Right. People don't like that.
No, especially during this time. It's 1981. You know?
Right.
Even your horror movies were ending on a good note. You know?
Right.
We were entering, which it's funny because speaking of the horror movies of the 80s, you know, the slasher boom was what we were getting into here in 1981. And it's funny to look at this movie. It almost has a commentary on that slasher genre.
Right.
That preceded it. You know, it's kind of ahead of its time that way. But anyway. But yeah, everybody was fucking down on this fucking bleak ending. How did you feel about this ending?
Well, also, hold on, I have a point to make before I get to that. I wonder if it's the release date, because I know that sounds weird, but to me, this is not a summer-y movie. Like, and I understand that they're doing like fireworks shows for the Liberty Bell and stuff like that, but to me, this is a winter movie.
It does have that feel, even though nothing really in the movie kind of depicts winter.
Right. But they are wearing coats.
It feels like a fall movie to me.
Yeah, like a fall movie. That's what I mean. It's like it's a colder months movie, not a 4th of July fucking movie.
I could be wrong. That's just my reading.
Right. And I know that sounds really weird, but like, do you want a snow movie in the middle of July? Like, I know this is not a snow movie, but like close enough.
It could have been. It could have been a weird release date for what this movie, with the feeling of this movie.
Yeah.
I think really the summertime, they were probably thinking like 4th of July, kind of, you know, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Maybe. I don't know what studios think when they release movies. But it's
But
just,
you see what I mean?
Yeah. I see what you mean. I
don't mind this bleak ending. Because I feel like he did her justice. Like he gave her voice back, and I know that's a scream, but he did.
It does feel like putting the scream in there, which you could say like he's been looking for this scream the entire time,
right?
You know, because there is a scene where he walks in and the guy's like, "Okay, listen to them," and he's like, "Keep looking,"
right?
You know, so he has been looking for the scream the entire time, and so maybe it's just at the end, it's like, "Oh, that's the perfect scream." It just so happens it's hers. But also, you could also say it's kind of almost a fuck you to the people working this conspiracy behind the scenes. You know,
oh, maybe so.
Maybe he's, by putting this in this movie that perhaps they'll see, you know, maybe that's a big fuck you to them. Now they have to hear her scream.
Right.
I don't know, you know.
And making it look like she killed Burke. Or maybe, I mean, what is he supposed to do? Like, be like, yeah, I just fucking killed this guy?
Yeah, because then they might come after him, because if they think like he's just...
Right.
Yeah.
So he just had to leave them there. Leave both of them there.
Right.
So maybe he didn't make it look like she did. They just assumed he did because she did, because he's dead and she's dead. I like the idea of thinking that he did that for her.
Yeah. I think I like that too, honestly. I don't know. To me, the ending is perfect for this story. I mean, it's a bleak movie.
Right. It's not an upbeat movie.
No, it's not upbeat at all. You know, it's a story about guilt. Like, we've been talking about guilt and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, Sally and Jack being motivated to try and make their pasts right, only to both have tragic consequences in the end, which I didn't even put it together, but Burke has the same kind of thing working here. You know, he's trying to make whatever he did right, and it kind of leads to his undoing.
Right.
You know,
just because he wanted to kill him.
I mean, all the things he does was wrong. First of all, I'm not saying like he has guilt. his is something completely different. He's
Right.
more working against like trying to right what he put in motion by killing the guy
Right.
before, but you
Right.
get what I mean.
He's trying to justify why he did what he did, and he's got to cover up all these little pieces too.
Yeah. So it feels like he's working with it too,
Yeah.
which is really cool. And so it's, I don't know. It's a bleak fucking ending. And I think a happy ending would have made this feel like a cheap movie.
Yes.
It can't end on a happy note.
No.
It can't end on him saving Sally and they walk off into the sunset.
Yeah, that'd be weird.
Because then where does it go from there? I mean, what do they turn over the tape? Do they, the tape got destroyed. Where do you go from there?
It's so much more complicated than that.
Yeah. So I think it really did have to end like this. Now, over the years, Blowout gained an audience of followers from its home release, VHS and stuff like that. So more people started seeing it that way. And Quentin Tarantino in particular has helped this movie get noticed. Nancy Allen has even thanked him, for spreading the word about this.
Oh, wow.
Because it was his, like I talked about in our Quentin Tarantino series, his word of mouth can help sell a movie.
Oh, yeah.
So he started talking about this being one of his most favorite movies ever. It's on his top 11 list of movies. He thinks he's quoted saying that it's De Palma's finest work.
Wow.
I don't know. I love all De Palma's movies. De Palma after this movie would go on to make Scarface, which is a completely different fucking flavor of movie from this. Yeah. He does. Each of his movies have a different flavor to their own. And I think they're all great in their own.
That makes me want to watch Scarface now.
Scarface is a very good movie. It's not good in the way people hype it up to be, though.
That's what you were saying.
Yeah. They make Tony Montana out to be a fucking superhero or something if you see all these people wearing the shirts and stuff. Not so much these days. Do you remember that time in the early 2000s when Scarface was fucking everywhere?
Yes.
What the fuck was that about? I never understood it. Like, I understood Scarface being a really good movie, but I never could wrap my mind around all of a sudden everybody's wearing Scarface merchandise.
Just because it was tough looking, probably.
I guess it just seemed so late for everybody to be obsessed about Scarface. And half these motherfuckers didn't even watch the movie. They're like, yeah, he just rise to power. I was like, yeah, but it didn't end well for him. But anyway. But yeah, so he'd go on to do that. And I wouldn't say this is his best work. Because, like I said, each movie is its own flavor, and I think each movie is great on its own.
So do you know what his best work is, in your opinion?
I don't know. I don't think there's ever been a De Palma flick I didn't like.
Yeah.
Even when you get into Snake Eyes, which a lot of people have mixed reactions about Snake Eyes with Nicolas Cage, but I think that was great, too.
Because you love Nick Cage.
Yeah, you combine De Palma with Nick Cage, I'm there.
Right.
It's so good. I don't know. I love his style of movie.
Yeah.
This movie could have very much been bloated and loaded and fucking bogged down in almost 3 hours, but it's not. It's an hour and 47 minutes of tenseness. You got bleak. You got tense, you got a fucking mystery, you got a conspiracy there. There's a lot to chew into in that hour and 47 minutes.
I do agree with that.
Yeah, so the Tarantino's word of mouth, it may have even led to the wonderful 2-disc special edition that Criterion put out. That's the copy that we watched.
Oh.
It's a great. If you guys don't own this and you're interested in it, and maybe you've seen this on streaming because it has been on streaming here lately. But like, go buy the Criterion.
I thought you were going to give it away.
No, fuck that. I spent a while looking for this. Y'all can find this on your own. But what an asshole.
We are not giving Leigh's DVDs away, apparently.
What a fucking asshole move. I'm sorry, everybody. The thought of giving one of my personal movies away, it scares me. Like, don't do that.
I struck a nerve.
Motherfucker. I don't even loan these fucking things out.
It's true.
I will not loan a movie out after my Fargo experience. I loaned Fargo out in high school. My Fargo copy. I've never seen that fucking copy. I've never seen that fucking special edition anniversary copy of Fargo with the slipcover. Motherfucker still has
What
it.
even is that movie?
I think that dude's dead. And you want to hear something fucked up?
No.
So that dude died. I think he died in a motorcycle accident. I had the thought pass through my mind, and this is how fucked up of a person I am. I was like, should I ask his parents if he had Fargo still?
Oh my God.
Hi, I used to be this is so-and-so's friend. I was just wondering, you know, when you went through his stuff, did you see a copy of Fargo, an anniversary edition with the slipcover?
No, I'm sorry your son died.
Do you have my movie, Mrs. and Mr.?
Did it get rewound?
It was a DVD, man. It was expensive. Anyway, I'm sorry. Yeah, you really did hit him. But go out and buy, if you can find it, buy the copy, the Criterion edition. It has, you know, a whole fucking special features disc loaded with bonus features and all sorts of stuff for you to learn about this movie, because it is a wonderful movie, and it exists in this weird fucking, you know, it exists in this weird thing, you know, where it's not underrated. I can't call this movie underrated because of how much rave reviews it gets.
Right.
You know, but it exists in this area where people forget it's there. You know, you have people list you their favorite De Palma flicks, and Blowout usually doesn't make the list.
Just because they forget about it?
I think so. Not that it's a forgettable movie.
Right.
But it's just like, people forget it's out there. It's really weird. I don't understand why this one doesn't get as much talk as Body Double or Dress to Kill. You know, Dress to Kill has more talk about it than Blowout does, which it's weird. I think it's just as good as those movies.
I don't know.
But anyway, like I said, it exists in a weird little area. But it's one of his finest works, I think. I think it's one of his best. Not saying it is his best, but it's up there. Like I said, there's not a De Palma movie I've watched that I just didn't care for. But enough about me. Blowout. What did you think about 1981's Blowout?
I thought it was good. I mean, it wasn't Carrie.
Well, no. And like I said, you know, conspiracy movies.
Right.
Aren't your cup of tea.
Right. And I think this is the first conspiracy movie I ever watched.
I think so. I can't think of one that you've seen.
And I really don't care about politics, but I do like the storyline of this movie, and I like the acting and the actors. And did I think it was a love story at all? No.
I mean, it does have a slight love story to it.
I guess it could if you read it that way, but they had no fucking chemistry.
See, I thought they did. That's what's funny. I love that you had a completely different reading about these two characters than I did.
No.
Because I actually really liked the little meet cute they had at the beginning. Where
I didn't think it was that. No.
Interesting. I like that.
Yeah, I just didn't feel that at all. I think he used her, not in a bad way. That sounds really bad when I say it like that.
Well, it could be considered a bad way. I mean, he got her killed. But
he didn't mean to.
No, he didn't mean to, but he didn't have to.
Right.
You know, we talked about he could have just fucking stopped her there when he had the bad feeling about that.
Right. But I liked it just fine. I liked the storyline. I liked how smooth it was. It didn't feel thrown together, which I thought was nice.
Right. Nothing feels unnecessary.
Right.
Like everything feels perfect in this movie.
Yeah.
Like no complaints.
No, I don't have any complaints about it.
Would you watch something like this again?
I don't know. It'd be hard.
It sounded like today that I hated on other conspiracy movies. I didn't. It's just there's some that rub me wrong.
Right.
Like I said, conspiracy theories just are boring to me.
The only conspiracy theory I want to know about is John Bonet, and I'm gonna tell you the real shit about that, but not here.
Boy, that went dark.
That's the only conspiracy.
That's a dark ending.
Well, that was the only conspiracy theory that I could think of.
John Bonet.
Yes.
That's so funny. That's the only conspiracy theory you could think of. Because we're talking politics.
Because I never watched any. I knew it. You talked about the JFK thing.
Yeah.
But other than that, I don't know about any of them.
And I just pulled that one out because that's the one people know the most of. There's
Right.
other political conspiracies and stuff, All
I'm
sorts
sure
of
there
things.
is lots
Yeah.
of them.
Yeah.
But I don't know any
I
of them.
find them boring. So,
Yes.
to hold my attention with a conspiracy theory movie, you better have a damn good movie. It better have great performances in it and stuff like that. Like JFK, Oliver Stone's JFK, great conspiracy movie. It keeps my attention and has some really good acting in it and stuff like that. But if you just throw together a fucking conspiracy theory movie, I'm going to kind of meh. It's not good.
Right.
These things are so easy to fuck up too. Because it's not just a mystery movie.
Right. I haven't even seen a lot of mystery movies, I don't think.
Like murder mystery movies, I think you've seen
Oh.
quite a few of those.
I do like those.
Yeah. So you see what I mean though?
Yeah.
This is not, it is kinda, but it's not. So you can fuck this up real easy.
Yeah. I like the intertwining of everything. Like everything goes a little bit deeper.
Yeah,
Just
and
a little
it
bit
goes
deeper.
even deeper than what we explored. You have
Right.
that feeling like this shit goes way deeper than we want, and that's what I like. I like the ambiguous. I think if you go too much into explaining everything, it fucks up your movie, and if you go, you don't explain enough, that also fucks up your movie. So I think you walk a thin line here, and
Right.
I think Brian De Palma gets it perfect.
Right.
A great movie. So anyway. That's Blowout from 1981. We had a good 2 months, I think, here
Yes.
in January. I think we had a good 2 months, but it is time. It is fucking time to get back to the horror.
More than time.
Just having a dark movie was lovely this week.
Yes.
Just having a real dark, fucking depressing, almost kind of scary movie. I say scary because Lithgow's in it. He's fucking horrifying in this movie. He's pretty scary. But just that little taste of horror is wanting. It's calling.
Yeah,
It's
we need to
fucking
go back.
calling. Yeah. So February, if you guys aren't aware, we are doing the best of 2021, or at least in my opinion. Next week,
I thought we were calling it something else.
I don't know. Well, I can't because 3 out of the 4 movies were made in 2021. The other one was made in 2020, but everybody saw it in 2021.
Okay.
So I'm just going to call it the best of 2021. So next week is that cheating movie. That's right. We're going to be talking about The Empty Man.
The Empty Man.
Yes, The Empty Man from 2021. I'm just going to fucking say it. This is 2021.
Okay.
Yeah, The Empty Man, which again, if you guys are subscribers on our Patreon, we joked about that, how like the fucking title makes you think of those Slender Man movies, or fucking the Bye Bye Man, the Poo Poo Pee Pee Man.
Poo Poo Pee Pee Man. Oh my
Why
gosh.
does that title make me think that?
I don't know.
The Bye Bye Man. It just sounds so fucking stupid.
The Poo Poo Pee Pee Man.
Are we gonna get like the Bye Bye Man versus fucking Slender Man?
I don't know.
Bye Bye Man versus Slender Man this summer.
Oh, anyway. So
but
we're doing The Empty Man.
But we're doing The Empty Man, and it scared the fuck out of me. I'll tell
I don't
you,
believe you.
it is a movie that I don't get scared by these movies very easily anymore. This movie caught me off guard because I thought I was going to sit down and watch the Poo Poo Pee Pee Man. And what I got was a completely different movie.
Oh, the Poo Poo Pee Pee Man.
So until next time when we watch The Empty Man, not the Poo Poo Pee Pee Man. Holy shit, that's the funniest joke I've told tonight. But I'm Lee Evans saying stay spooky and get vaccinated.
And I'm Brittany. Stay horrific.
Wear a fucking mask.
What does that have to do with anything?
It has everything, goddammit. I got COVID, you fuckers. Anyway, see you next
Bye.
week. See you next week, motherfuckers. I'm gonna send John Lithgow to your houses.
Please don't.
Progresso soup. Bye. Thanks for listening. To get a hold of us and submit your stories, fan mail, and death threats, you can find us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and nightofthehorrorfile.com. Our theme song was written and performed by John Brennan, used with permission. Find John at shopjb.bandcamp.com and at badtechno.com. If you like what you hear, leave a good review wherever you listen to podcasts, and share the show on your social media. See you next week.